Guys, how's it going? This is Miguel with SoCal Watch Reviews. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're going to be reviewing a micro brand watch. It is the Nodus Retrospect 2. I have it on the wrist. Let me tell you a little bit about Nodus. In 2017, two best friends, Wes and Colin, embarked on a journey together that would forever change their lives. They established the Nodus Watch Company. The word Nodus is Latin and in essence means intersection of pathways. As the guys put it in a quote, "We envision a world where people are unafraid to embrace who they are and chase whatever passion pulls at them. Nodus watches are built for the important things in life, and we hope that wherever life takes you, you take notice." Beautiful quote, you guys. I first heard about Nodus watches through Instagram, and once I saw their designs, I absolutely fell in love. Just like the founders of the company, I too have a passion for Seiko watches, vintage watches, and cars. It's not every day that you find a watch company producing watches with a vintage aesthetic, but with a modern twist. For a long time, I honestly dismissed microbrands, and I was all about companies with heritage. However, if a product, any product, offers quality materials, is well built, and is offered at an incredible price, then why would anybody dismiss that product? That's a hard question to answer, but we can certainly attribute it to a few human traits. Most of us have a tendency of being stubborn, unwilling to change, and for the most part stick to routines, in this case, brands. From our early childhood, we understand very quickly brand loyalty. Say for instance, if your family has been using the same cooking oil for years, you as an adult are most likely to use the same brand. Much is the case with watches. As early collectors, we hear of certain brands and it's hard to keep an open mind and give any other brands an opportunity. I can assure you, I was one of those people, but eventually came around, and this is my first microbrand watch, and oh boy, was I missing out. The guys over at Nodus have made some huge waves in the watch community and are extremely in tune with their core market demographic. Take this beautiful Retrospect 2 for example. The proportions are incredible. It measures in at 40.5 millimeters, it's 13.5 millimeters thick, it's 49 millimeters lug-to-lug, and it has a 22 millimeter lug width. The entire watch, including the bracelet, are constructed of 316L stainless steel. The case shape is pretty traditional, but those lugs have a real presence with the hard square corners. Most of the case is polished, except for the top portion of the lugs, which have a very subtle horizontal brushing. And of course, they went the extra mile by having drilled lugs for easy strap changes. The screw down crown helps with the 200 meter water resistance, and it's located at the 3 o'clock, and it features a Nodus logo. One of the vintage characteristics can be seen on the case, as it does not feature the crown guards. This is a nod to vintage diver watches like the Rolex Submariner Big Crown Reference 6538. The screw-on case back is pretty sterile, and it only features basic information about the watch. The glossy ceramic coin etched bezel, it's a 120 click unidirectional bezel that has extremely positive click, and it has minimal play. And here's another nod to the vintage world, as the bezel is sloped in, very much like a Rado Captain Cook, and it's not something that is very common in dive watches. The dial is protected by a double dome sapphire crystal that has blue AR coating on the underside. This will ensure that the watch can be worn daily without having to worry about scratches. Now, let's move on to the star of the show, the dial. I chose to go with what Nodus calls the salmon sky dial. The dial has a beautiful sunburst effect that it could only be seen in the light, and the look of it is almost copper-like. It's truly incredible. The logo, word Nodus, and Retrospect are printed on the dial, as so is the outer minute markings. At the 6 o'clock, we have a date window. Now, a date window is a highly controversial topic among collectors. Some love it, some hate it. This is why I said earlier that Nodus really knows their demographic. They chose to make the color of the date window the same color as the dial, and it's a blend of perfection. Not to mention that the inner window has Loom. The dolphin hands give it a nice, elegant yet sporty look, and the second hand is ion plated and brushed. Just a small flex to the other microbrands to show them how it's done. The sandwich style dowel is very reminiscent of a Panerai Radiomir, and again, has that vintage styling to it. The shape of the indices honestly remind me of shark teeth and have a nice aggressive look to them. And in dive watches, that's what you need. You need something that's going to set you apart from the competition. Now, let's move on to the bracelet. It's fully constructed of 316L stainless steel. It features solid H links and solid N links. There's screws on the links that make it for easy strap change and sizing, of course. The bracelet has a very nice male clasp and a deploying buckle. And the buckle has 2 buttons on the side for easy functionality, and it features that extra locking mechanism on top with the company name engraved on it. The bracelet does have some micro adjustments to ensure the watch will fit many wrist sizes. The sides of the bracelet are polished, but other than that, the entire bracelet is brushed, matching the brushing on top of the lugs. In my unboxing video, I showed that they also include a Barton Elite silicone strap with quick release and a branded Nodus buckle. I honestly feel more companies should do this. I can only speak for myself when I say that although I love the stainless steel bracelet on my watches, I like variety. And the fact that this additional strap came directly from the company means that, in essence, really I got 2 watches for the price of one. At least in the looks department. As everyone knows, the best way to get a new watch is to change the strap on your watches. Now powering this guy is a Seiko NH35 Japanese automatic movement. The movement is regulated in 4 positions here in Los Angeles, California, so it can perform at plus or minus 10 seconds a day. The fact that the company is willing to go the extra mile, especially for a watch that costs less than $500, is truly remarkable, and I take my hat off to the guys at Nodus for caring so much about their customers. As you all know, the Seiko NH35 movement is a workhorse movement. It can be hacked, hand-wound, and in essence is a glorified 7S26 movement, but I'm really happy with it. The lume of this watch is really nice. The company does use Swiss Superluminova BGW9 Grade A. As mentioned earlier, a splash of lume has been applied around the date window. They also added lume to the numbers on the bezel and the underside of the indices cutouts. When fully charged, it shines like a torch, and it has a really nice aesthetic to it. Lume is extremely important in dive watches for visibility purposes, and this watch is very visible in low lights. The watch is not perfect, and there are some things I would change. If I had the opportunity first, I'll make the sizing on the lugs 20mm as opposed to 22mm. In my opinion, watches with 22mm are a little large, but the ones with 20s look a lot better. Not only that, they look sleeker, better proportion, and you can find a lot more straps on the market. Second, I would love to have an on-the-fly buckle for easy adjustability on the go. Third, and this is just me being picky, I'll be putting lume on the logo of the crown. I know most people would disagree with me, but I love lume, and I know the company is capable of doing it since they offer that on their duality model. Lastly, the weight. This guy is a little heavy. Even with 3 links removed, the watch weighs in at 165 grams. After a while, it does become wrist heavy. In my opinion, those are some pretty easy fixes that Nodus can, pretty much consider and fix, and the watch would pretty much be perfect. Well, perfect for me anyway. Honestly, before buying the watch, I was a little skeptical, since I had never had any first-hand experience with the microbrand watch. However, now that I've owned this watch for several weeks and I've had the time to get to know it, I honestly couldn't recommend it more. From the design to the construction, the watch is fantastic. Another key element that I have yet to mention is the fact that Wes, one of the owners, has been super transparent with me and has answered every single question I've thrown at him. Customer service is definitely key when you're spending any kind of money on any object, especially a mechanical one that may encounter some issues. Knowing that they stand behind their product 100%, offer a 2-year warranty that's transferable, give you real peace of mind. Not to mention, speaking directly to one of the owners gives you that sense that you're now part of an elite group and part of the Nodus family. I can't wait to see what other models Nodus Nodus comes out with and they have in store for us. I know they're working on some really cool designs and maybe some different color variations, so that's pretty exciting. Thank you again to everyone that subscribed to the channel, and if you haven't already, I would ask you to please do so. Honestly, that's what keeps us creators motivated to keep producing more content. Please comment, like, and hopefully send this to other friends of yours. That way more watch collectors can find the channel and hopefully grow the SoCal Watch Reviews family. Thank you again for stopping by. Take care. Stay humble, my friends.